The Super Eagles of Nigeria could only manage 2 draws against Lesotho and Zimbabwe. It's a stuttering start to the FIFA 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Remember, the Super Eagles of Nigeria failed to qualify for the last FIFA World Cup in Qatar 2022. Will they make it back-to-back misses? Welcome to another brand new edition of Sports Pizza. My name is Edwin Onyebolese. Hope you had a fantastic weekend, and I'm sure your week has started greatly. Maybe not for Nigerian fans who are still angry at the performances and the results of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But hey, guess what? We have 8 more games left to salvage what we have going forward. And yes, not just the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We have European Championship qualifiers that went down this weekend. We also have World Cup qualifiers in other continents, Asia and South America. Also away from football, it was the Formula One in Las Vegas. And what a spectacle it was. And in tennis, guess who? Novak Djokovic once again reigns supreme. Yes, this is what we have for you on today's show. I'm sure you know we give you nothing but the best on Sports Pizza. Once again, welcome. My name is Edwin Onyebolese, and of course I have my guy in the building. We need to go on a break. When we come back, we'll delve into action. I will start off from the home front. This is the Super Eagles of Nigeria. 2 points from a possible 6. Welcome back. It is Sports Pizza. My name is Edwin Onyebolese, and with me on set today is Bolu Ajijegede. Bolu, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Always a pleasure joining you on set.
Yeah, Bolu, before we get into action, the highlights of your weekend and your week so far.
Yeah, the highlight for me is, Kylian Mbappe, scoring an hat-trick, and also, having hat-trick of assist as well for France, which was, great for them in that historical
14-0
against Gibraltar, and that's just it for me.
All right, not the Super Eagles, not Sporting Lagos. All right, we'll start with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and it was supposed to be 2 easy games for the Super Eagles. Lesotho at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo, and Zimbabwe in Rwanda, who are playing away from home. But hey, the Super Eagles made a mess of it. Poor performances, a lack of tactical idea from Jose Peseiro. What's your take on both games?
Yeah, for the games, we saw, the inept of the manager. We saw, players who were lacking in ideas, who were lacking in tactical genuity to actually approach, these 2, minnows in African football. We saw, we saw a team that was displaying the thought process of the manager, which couldn't help them, salvage victory in any of these games. And it shows that the manager is average. It shows the manager is not the kind of manager that we Nigerians want to see. It shows that he's struggling with these foreign players. And if you're struggling with foreign players, how do you want to manage the champ players, the home base players, when competitions come in next month in December? So it's total struggle for the team. And you look at how they've actually played thus far. The players are lacking in aptitude, they're lacking in attitude, just to ensure that they get all of these wins. And if you cannot beat a Zimbabwe who is ranked 120, 23rd in the world, how do you want to challenge the likes of South Africa, who is also in the group, Benin Republic, who's also in the group, against our former manager, talking about Kenneth Rowe. At this point, it's a do or die affair in their next set of qualifiers, and this struggle is real. Hopefully, things can change. Hopefully, NFF can take a decision, and we can have a better manager if possible. Because you look at the previous managers we've had, Kenneth Rowe, Las Lajabak, now say Peseiro. There's no quality. They have nothing to offer us, and it has to stop, because we can't miss the World Cup on a bounce. It's not what we want to witness at all.
All right, let's look at another interesting angle, and it is from the angle of naturalizing players to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and a certain divide of football fans, analysts have opined that these players do not have an understanding of the culture of African football. These players do not have an understanding of the rivalry that exists in African football. We saw it against Ghana, the World Cup qualifier, the playoff for Qatar 2022, where a couple of them didn't understand the gravity, didn't understand the history, the rivalry between Nigeria and Ghana. Do you think this has also left a negative impact on the Super Eagles' performances when they play in Africa?
Yes, I agree. It's one of those things. It's one of those things because if you're playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, you need to know what it means to play for the badge. You make a case in point of the last qualifying game against Ghana. Majority of the Ghanaian players that played that game, play their trade in the league, and they know what it means to play at the World Cup. A lot of them could have maybe not had in terms of career, not have a good one. But again, the World Cup was alarming for them, and they knew they had to die there on the pitch, just to ensure that they picked the ticket, and which is what we saw. So these players that the Super Eagles are inviting, the foreign base, it's more like a day in office. At their club level, we lose, we draw, or we win. It's just like a normal day. So the energy is not there, the hunger is not there, the zeal is not there, just to ensure that they play for the batch and ensure that we move to the next round. So it's just unfortunate, and I hope things change. Hopefully, we can have some home-based Eagles that know what it means to play for.
Yeah. So talking about home-based Eagles, do you think now is the perfect opportunity to integrate a couple of them? Not just to make up the roster, but in key games, starting 11. Do you think now is the time?
Yes, I think I've been calling for them to actually be integrated into the side, and I think this is the perfect time, because if the foreign counterpart can't beat Zimbabwe with the technicality of the game that they've had over times in their clubs, and also where they've trained or where they've developed or where they've grown, they are being a footballer. I think it's right now you have to call on the experience, or not even experience, but call on the guys that have the zeal, that know yes they want to die, they're playing for the Super Eagles. It's pride for them if they actually play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and they want to give their all.
Finally, on the Super Eagles, are you optimistic about the African Cup of Nations a couple of weeks away?
Yeah.
Ivory Coast, the venue. We are in the same group with the host country, Ivory Coast. Are you optimistic? Maybe this will spur them on to write a new chapter in their Super Eagles career.
Before this set of games, I was very optimistic. But right now, it's shaky right now. It's shaky, but anything can happen. These are just 2 games. We can start slow in the group stage and maybe build from there and ensure that we qualify from the group. Don't forget the target for me was to win the AFCON. But again, you look at the performance. If it doesn't improve, then maybe we'll just be part of the participant.
All right. Talking about participants, I'm sure countries like Egypt, countries like Algeria don't want to be participants. They want to challenge for the title. Both countries have started on a fantastic note in their FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Also, Gabon have a 100% winning start to the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Sudan have 4 points unbeaten so far in their group. So, hey, it's a tough task for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, who are in the same group with South Africa. All right, at this point, we need to go on the break. But before we do that, quickly, let's touch on Novak Djokovic. 7 ATP Tour finals, one more than Roger Federer. It's been a record-breaking season for Novak Djokovic. 7 titles. He's going to be guaranteed world number 1, 400 weeks. That is more than any tennis player in history. He won 8 Paris Masters, 1,000 titles, record extending. He won the French Open. In winning the French Open, he became the first tennis player to win the career Grand Slam at least 3 times.
Incredible dominance from Novak Djokovic. You look at how he has come into the ranks. It showed that he's going to be part of this century, or this time, this modern era. And when there's no challengers, when there's no Rafael Nadal, there's no Roger Federer.
I don't think there are no challengers. I just feel like, hey, this guy is on a level above the rest. Remember, the beating finalist Yannick Sinner defeated him in the group stage,
yes,
but he just swept past him in the final.
Yannick Sinner
he also made light work of Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah, Yannick Sinner is not a rival. He can't be a rival to Novak with the quality of tennis he has played in the last 4-5 years. He might beat him, in the first round of the competition, but again, he showed why he is Novak, at the end, and that's how champions do.
And away from tennis to Formula One, still talking about champions, it was the Las Vegas Grand Prix, the first of its kind. It was a spectacle, and beyond the spectacle, the razzmatazz and the paparazzi on the track. Yes, it was one of the best races in Formula One history, and guess who? No other than Max Verstappen, taking his 18th win of a record-breaking season. Yeah, what a performance from Max Verstappen. Is having a season of his life. He's already a 3-time Formula One drivers champion. 2024 is going to stop Mad Max, as it's popularly called. We'll find out in the coming months. But first, we need to go on a break. When we come back, there's more on Sports Pizza. Remember, you can follow us on our social media platforms. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back. I'm sure you're having fun with us. It's still Sports Pizza, Edwin and Bolu in the building. It's time to talk international football. And Bolu, we've seen a lot of games from the Asian World Cup qualifiers to the South American World Cup qualifiers and European Championship qualifiers. For France, they defeated Gibraltar by an insane scoreline, 14-0. It's the most margin in European qualifiers history. But away from the results, do you think it's time UEFA, and by extension FIFA, find a way to ensure that we don't have this kind of results? Because what it shows is the gulf, the chasm in quality between countries like Gibraltar and France.
Yeah, I think it would be a welcome development if FIFA or UEFA can look for a way of pulling this lowly rated side into a group so that they can battle it out for any of the major tournaments, so that we don't see this kind of ridiculous scoreline again, because it's embarrassing. I really don't know how it's going to be for Gibraltar's manager and the coaches. The manager could be sacked, and the players also could be mentally affected as well. So I don't want to see this anymore in football, even though Didier Deschamps was talking about how he said they have something to play for, and it was beating the previous historical win, and which is what they did. It's an embarrassing one for them, and the fans are really affected, and hopefully things can change, which is a constant thing.
It reminds me of Australia. They got a 31-0 victory.
Hi.
And they had, at that point, they had to say, hey, we need to leave Oceania. And they now play their FIFA World Cup qualifiers with the Asia continent. It was a perfect qualification process for Portugal, 8 wins from 8. And Roberto Martinez, yes. Is this a sign of things to come for Portugal at the Euro 2024? That will take place in Germany. Fingers crossed. And Lukaku, yes, 4 goals in the first half against Azerbaijan, further enhances credentials as one of the deadliest strikers in international football. But guess what? Club football returns this weekend, and we have mouth-watering matches lined up across Europe. Not just Europe, also in Nigeria. Yes, the NPFL games will be back. But quickly, Bolu, we have a couple of big games. Manchester City versus Liverpool in the English Premier League. It's first versus second. Pep versus Klopp.
Yeah, another interesting game, from the 2 of the biggest, managers in the Premier League, and we can't wait. It always delivers, a lot of actions, a lot of goals, a lot of tackles, and we can't wait to see that all again. And City, from where they stopped in the game against Chelsea, they didn't look like a very convincing side. Liverpool also has got his own struggles. So 2 sides not really perfect, but again could deliver a lot of what we saw from the game between Chelsea and Man City. And
in Italy, it is the Derby d'Italia, Juventus versus Inter Milan. It is second versus first.
That would be another exciting game, because you look at how Inter have started the season, gone blazing, scoring a lot of goals and also keeping clean sheet. Martinez in front of all of these goals they've scored this season. And you look at Juventus, not really playing well, but getting the result. And it's going to be a very feisty game, a very difficult game for both sides. Hopefully they deliver the goals, because goals hasn't really been, pouring out in terms of where Juve has been coming from. But it promises to be exciting.
And in France, it is Paris Saint-Germain versus Monaco, first versus third. So, like I said, plethora of interesting games across Europe's top 5 leagues. And talking about Europe, Barcelona once again are in pains because Gavi seems to be out for a lengthy period. They picked up that injury for Spain, and it seems like he has torn his ACL, and the extent to which he'll be out is not confirmed yet, but we wish Gavi a speedy recovery. 27 caps already for Spain at the age of 19, 111 appearances for his boyhood club, FC Barcelona. And quickly, the NPFL, we saw some interesting games over the weekend. Sporting Lagos could only manage a late equalizer. It was a point against Heartland. A setback for Sporting.
Yeah, a setback for them. We're expecting 3 points. We're expecting them to win the game. And the way they started that game, a lot of chances were created, and Jonathan Luku and Junior Lukosa couldn't put the ball at the back of the net, which was not really a great one for them. Sporting Lagos were destined to win over the weekend, and with the first half, they should have been 4 goals up. But failed to convert their chances, and from there Atlant grew in wings and in bounds, and at that point, second half, they scored an own goal, from Oji, and from there it was all Sporting Lagos had to try and get a consolation goal, yes, of which they did, and they got at the end from Jonathan Aluku, who was wasteful on the day, and not really a good one for them. But they are just there to survive. They are not to win the league. They can't win the league, but again, maintain their status in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's a tough start to the season for Sporting Lagos. Yeah, they're going to learn. Experience comes with setbacks like this. There were wins also for Rivers United against Abia Warriors, ended 2-1 in favor of Rivers United. Enugu Rangers and Castina United played out a goalless draw. Bayelsa United and Sunshine Stars played out a 1-0 draw. Enyimba defeated Lobby Stars by a lone goal. And I don't know if you saw that viral tweet by the chairman of Enyimba Football Club, Kanu Nwankwo, who put up a post on the X platform, and he used the wrong handle of Enyimba. In fact, he misspelled Lobby Stars, and football fans went in for the legend himself, Kanu Nwankwo. And yes, Aqua United defeated Remo Stars by 3-2. It was an entertaining game. And you think Remo Stars have what it takes to win the league this season?
Yes, I think they are. I think they have, because you look at how they've started the season. Secret Alimi scoring 8 goals, this season is one of the best strikers right now in the league, and is really helping them, get those goals. You look at Ismail Sadiq, the right back, having 8 assists, the most
impressive,
this season, and these are players that are definitely helping, Remo Stars push towards the ladder. The manager has talked about how they want to win the league, and they're on that line.
All right, we wish all 20 teams in the NPFL the best. We are not picking sides here on Sports Pizza. This is the much you can take from the analytical points of the show. Remember, we'll give you mouth-watering videos for your viewing pleasure. So our video of the week is going to be up, but remember to follow us on our social media platforms at Sports Pizza on Instagram, on Facebook, and of course on the X platform. Remember, we have lovely content for your viewing pleasure on our YouTube page. So visit Sports Pizza on YouTube. From me, Edwin Onibolese and Boluwaji Jegede. Yes, we'll be back same time next week on this dial. Remember to keep it real with us. Follow us on our social media platform, and of course, like us and follow us on our YouTube page. My name is Edwin Onibolese. Do have fun.